It is Sunday, November 1st. It's about 9:45 tonight, and we are on our way to go pick up Wayne from the airport. Wayne is the tuner for the car. He owns a business called International Speed Consulting. He's also the head tuner of Dallas Performance, arguably one of the best motorsports tuners in the country, if not the world, and he's super legit with Syvecs. And he's been helping me with the car since I bought it. He also tuned my 991 turbo, the 1,000 horsepower one. This year, you know, we're trying to take everything up a notch. I wanted to really have him be involved with the race program and really, you know, not just be the tuner who was working on the car remotely, but also to be present, come out here, you know, really get the car sorted out on the dyno, which we'll be doing tomorrow. Tuesday is election day, and who knows what the fuck's gonna happen after that. So we're gonna be at World Motorsports, which has got one of the best dynos on this side of the Mississippi. Shout out to my boy Craig for giving us some time. If everything goes good on Monday, you know, we're going to then be taking the car to Buttonwillow on Thursday for track testing. We really got to get you know, some seat time in the car before the race, which will be the following weekend. So it's all coming down. We got 2 weeks before. Oh shit, hold on. It's kind of crunch time. Some guys on the team are a little bit more nervous. You know, we've been doing this for a few years, so some of us, you know, like me, who have been in it the whole time, it always comes together. You know, it's just one of those things. You just put the time in, you put the hours in, and there's going to be some hiccups, there's going to be some road bumps. You know, I'm sure something's going to have to get tweaked or fixed, but we'll just work as long as we have to make sure it gets done. So we're pulling in to John Wayne right now. Let's pick up Wayne. He doesn't know RJ came here with the video, so he'll be surprised. And he's actually just coming off a weekend at Coda for the Optima Streetcar Challenge, so I'm sure he's tired, but you know, Wayne's kind of like a rock star. These tuners are rock stars, and they just go wherever the cars are and they'll just get it done.
Shake it, baby. Oh yeah, man, what a day.
The rock star himself, Mr. Wayne Potts, has arrived. He's in the building.
Let's do this, man.
Let's go.
Been a long day.
I've been. Go.
So you know, I do a lot of project management. So there's a lot of people that have great ideas. They're involved with great shops and involved with great people. Sometimes they need like someone to kind of direct, like, hey, what do we do? We got all these great parts and these great products, and how do we put this all together? Because it's not necessarily like a kit, right? You know, you can call most hot rod shops and say, I need a, you know, a stage 2.
Yeah.
And they'll do a package. Boom, here you go. Right. So this is like beyond the scope of your normal stages type stuff that I deal with. And just like today, all these guys that I was dealing with today are beyond the normal scope of basic stage type builds. And that's what I enjoy getting involved with, because then they're like, ooh, I want to tweak it a little bit more here. You know, how do we, you know, focus on making it with a goal in mind, like I want to run this type of event, I want to do autocross, and I want to do this. Well, nobody's got like a set stage for that. So yeah. I love being involved in projects like that. So like this one, like the CSF Evo has a goal in mind, and it's not something you can just call someone and say, yo, just build me a car, you know, and they're like, oh, here's your recipe. It's like, okay, well, you know, we did this, we did that. Now we need to tweak on it. We need to refine it. You know, how do we do this? So there's ongoing projects. That's what I love doing.
You've been involved since the beginning, you know, but now that you're actually on the scene with the car, who the fuck's honking?
Me?
Oh, is that you? I'm like, is there a car behind us? Is that your text message? I'm like, who the fuck is on my ass? Yeah, having you here is awesome, because like you said, you know, you are a project manager, so I feel like you being involved with so many this year, like I've mentioned to you before, you're kind of like, I'm bringing you in to be not only obviously the expert tuner project manager, but you're like the glue, right? I feel like you're really going to glue this whole team of different personalities, of people with individual strengths, but you understand how it's all supposed to work for that goal, like you said, which is to be a competitive time attack race car. It's just like a sports team, you know, you can only go so far as a talent that's involved. We have very talented people who have put the car together, but we really needed the talent in the the tuning, the guy on site, project manager. So
the biggest thing in this industry, you know, I tell people all the time, there's 2 or 3 things that I always say. You know, look, I'm in the business to sell ego. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? That's all I do.
Yeah.
The second thing I say,
for sure.
That's right. The second thing I say is, you know, I'm in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Right.
Rockstar style, dude.
You know, you're not picking me up so I can go work on your car so that you and your wife can take the car to drop your kid off at daycare, right?
Yeah.
You know, this is extracurricular, right? And that's kind of a unique thing to think about when you keep in mind, like, okay, if it takes an extra week, right, to get something done, it's really okay. It's not the end of the world. And so when people see things like, oh my God, look how long it's taken to get the CSF Evo going. Okay, so what?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a passion. It's a great tool to promote what you do for the cooling systems and the work that you do. I mean, it's a much bigger picture involved, you know. And so, what I love is that you've grabbed a lot of the key players in this industry and said, hey, I want you to do this and I want you to do this. But then at the end of the day, you know, you're like, wait a minute, everybody's got their own opinions and their own like ideas, and let's do this and let's do that, and they're all pitching these to you, and you're like, wait a minute, you know, everybody's got strengths and weaknesses, but there's a lot of ego involved.
Yep.
So what I see is, man, this guy over here has a strength like this, and he needs to be able to connect with this guy over here to bring their strengths together to make this happen. And that's what really turned me on about this project, is like, man, I think that I'll be able to lend a hand in bringing everybody together.
Yep.
So yeah, okay, I can punch some buttons, right? I can put a tune on something.
Yeah.
I can make it go around the track, but I'm not doing it alone. I want to see if I can bring everybody else together that you've got involved, because every single person you have involved is extremely talented. They all have something to offer. They're all a part of the team. We need to put them in place, hold them accountable, and make everybody pitch in.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you know, the stakes are pretty high now, right? Because it is go time. You know, me personally, as the owner of the car, I would like to win. You know, I think that's ultimately the goal. You know, I mean, that's a lot to say because the car hasn't raced competitively yet. So to say it's going to go out to its first race on this new build and be able to, you know, challenge for, you know, podium, if not first place, it's a lot. And I think it's a lot of pressure that I'm putting on myself, but I think it's well deserved. This is the last race of this season, but for this car, I feel like this is the launch point, right? This is the first step of what should hopefully be a great 2021 season, campaigning the car at, you know, we want to get the car to COTA for Super Lap Battle. There's obviously the, you know, the conversation we've had about Pikes Peak. You know, we're talking about if this car gets, you know, the same invitation it had this year, which was canceled to go to Tokyo Auto Salon, does it run like a Fuji Speedway or a Scuba? If it goes to Essen Motor Show, does it run the Nürburgring, right? So this is going to be a critical time because it's like, hey, is this car sorted out and ready to go, or do we still need to continue to work on it? Like you said, it may take a little longer, or another week or another 2 months, but who cares? But I'm ready to see this thing go, and I hope it's a good, you know, point of starting, you know, this next chapter of the car's life. Monday, November 2nd. So we've been on it. We picked up Wayne last night from the airport. We're now here at World Motorsports, owned by my buddy Craig. The reason we came here is he has the best dyno in town. It's all wind velocity control. He's gonna explain it to you in a little bit. We just got the car, just brought it back from Rhino. The graphics look dope. I haven't even seen the car. I'm only looking at the back, but it is awesome. And you know, DK was handling a lot of the livery, and he had this idea in his head, and I was like, all right, we're running with it. So far so good, looks good. And you know, 10 minutes, we're gonna wrap the car up, put it on the dyno and get it strapped, and let's see what it does. Looks really good. It's fire. It has to look as good as it performs. That's the whole idea with this car, right? We wanted to keep that show car vibe, but it is a race car, and today we're gonna prove it on the dyno. And on Thursday this week, so in a few days, we'll be at the track. We're gonna be at Buttonwillow. Shout out to the guys over at Rhino. They killed it with the scheme. You know, as you guys saw in that last video, how they laser, you know, edged everything, and it just came out great. I mean, it looks better than the livery. It's exactly what we wanted, and you know, we got that part done, so let's get this thing going. All right, so we just loaded up the Evo on the dyno. We're here at World Motorsports. I'm here with the owner, Craig Paisley. He's the owner of World Motorsports, regarded as one of the top Porsche shops, tuner shops in the country. And he's also starting to do some McLarens. He does a lot of AMG stuff. I mean, anything that's coming in super high level, if you want it done right, you come to Craig. I even personally brought my 991 Turbo here this past summer when I was having some issues that needed to be sorted out. Took care of it, and I went on a 2,000-mile road trip soon after. So that's just a testament to the work. He's got cars here that are making over 1,000 horsepower. He's really pushing the limits of a lot of different platforms, and he's been in the industry for a long time. Him and I have become good friends, you know, throughout the years, and we've always kind of worked together. And when I wanted to bring my car to a dyno, I wanted to bring it to his because he has the best dyno in California, which we call the wind tunnel dyno. So Craig, thank you for having us, making the time. I know you're a busy guy and you got a lot of guys trying to use this machine. Give the users or the people watching the video, what's so special about your dyno?
Our dyno started off where we needed a four-wheel dyno.
Okay.
We were doing four-wheel drive cars and they had to drive really far away to do it. So we wanted to install one. So our big problem was we have neighbors right next to us.
Okay.
So we decided to build this soundproof room.
Okay.
And if we're gonna go through this investment to build a soundproof room, we decided let's take it to another level. So we configured some fans that provide a lot of air. So we have 3 exhaust fans that remove all the air out of the room. And then we have one really, really large fan that simulates 130 kilometer airspeed and matches the car speed on the dyno. So when the car is going 50 kilometers, it's 50. When it's going 100, it's 100. And that's what's very unique about our dyno.
And you know, that really allows tuners to really dial in the car for real world expectations, right?
We're trying to be able to simulate street conditions. Because every time you do your car on a dyno, you take it on the street, the tune's off. So we're trying to make it so on our dyno, we can simulate that condition and we can have the proper tune in the car.
And you know, I see everything from social media and just, you know, knowing you and the people who come here, you really have become regarded as like, hey, if you want to get your car dynoed right, you bring it to World. The best tuners in town are bringing their stuff to you. I think it's a testament to your professionalism, how clean your shop is, and the work you guys do. So I appreciate it. Thank you for, you know, letting everybody know why this dyno is so great. I'm excited to have the car on the dyno. You know,
I'm excited to have it
I think everyone's like really stoked on it, and let's see what it can do. So I appreciate it, Craig. Thank you so much.
You got it.
Well, that's why I'm happy both of you guys are here, right? Like this is what I said. Like, you know, Syvecs, you know, motorsports tuning. John's an expert with tuning and Evos, and this is his platform, right? So he's done, you know, road racing, he's done time attack, he's done very well at it. So yeah, you two brains, I mean, this is, your guys are up, you know? So however you guys think we need to get to, what power level is gonna be good to win. You know, like I wanna win. I don't wanna blow the car up, but I wanna win. So whatever we gotta do to make that happen, let's get to there.
You're not gonna blow this car up. Well, we're not gonna blow this car up.
We're not gonna blow this car up.
100%. That's not a concern at all. Like the concern is making it drive the way that it needs to drive without, you know,
the stuff that
last time.
Like he said earlier, the stuff that he wanted to adjust and fix last time, he didn't have the opportunity to do that. So being here today and being involved with making it smoother, corner exit, how the power comes on, stuff like that, you know, that's, I think he had mentioned several times today that that's very important to him. And he's got, since he's driven the car, that's what I wanted.
And even Mike was like,
you know. So, you know, and that's why we're doing this, and then that's why we're going to the track on Thursday. So we can do as much as we can do on the dyno, and everything else you guys can log and, you know, adjust at the track.
Man, you guys are quick.
You guys are so quick.
We're done, bro.
It's about 2:30 right now. We've had this dyno scheduled since 1. You know, this is just kind of part of the process. Right now we're trying to work out some kinks. At the moment we're having an issue with the wheel speed sensors, and we want to make sure that we do have those running and operating properly so that we can do tuning for like boost by gear, make sure the cutouts on throttle response, all those things that are on that next level of customization. Why not get those done now? So Wayne is working around trying to come up with just something that will be a fix for today, and then he's already talking to Ryan from Rywire to figure out what needs to be adjusted, and that way we'll be able to get this all sorted out for Thursday. So it's good that we're doing this on Monday, giving everybody a couple, you know, days to be able to get what they need to sort out, so that when we do go to the track on Thursday, things should be working the way they should be. So you know, we booked out the dyno for the rest of the day, knowing that there might be some hiccups and some problems, because this is only things that you're going to be able to discover once you start rolling. And you know, the car hasn't been driven, it's been started, but it hasn't been driven. So now we're starting to come up and kind of, you know, take it to the next step of where we are in the progress of making this into a race car. So probably the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes, we're gonna do some checking, see if the fix that Wayne was able to come up with works. And honestly, that's a big reason why he's here. You know, he's not just the tuner behind the computer, he's a motorsports engineer. He understands how to work around problems, find solutions that need to be coming out quickly. You know, it's not like, hey, let's take it off the dyno, let's take it back to the shop, and let's fix it and come back the next day. It's like, he's here, he's on the clock, he wants to get this done. We all want to kind of move on to the next step, so that's what he's coming up with now. So, you know, a couple minutes, probably get this fired back up.
We're going to test the wheel speeds, so fire it up and let's just double check we got the signal.
Good? Yep, so Wayne just MacGyvered, got some electrical stuff, pulled a wire out of the harness. We found a 15-volt connection, so where we can now use the wheel speeds that are in the car to now measure, you know, all the parameters that we need, so we can do some speed dialing, some boost by gear, all that stuff. So now we're gonna start running the car.
12 volts in the back and 12 volts up here.
Sure.
So he can just tee off of that one wire. I think it'll be easy for him. Small jumper harness, done.
Yeah, let's just put a new Deutsch in it with
2 wires going out and.
Okay.
All right, so the signal is. Yep, that's awesome. So 7.8 to drop to 4.7. That's a huge swing. That's going to be super accurate. There's 48 teeth on the reluctor wheel, so that'll be good.
John, you haven't said hi to the camera. John Dranis, 15150. Mr. Evo, also helping out with the tuning of the car. John's been part of the project since he called me and told me that hey, I built the car.
Hey, by the way, I know where you bought that.
Yeah, I know where you bought it. I know you rebuilt it, and you know, he wanted to be a part of it. He's definitely helped us out in many instances, and him and Wayne is a pretty power combo on the tuning side. So it's nice to have them both here.
Should be more fun than it was last time.
kind of just getting dialed in right now before we start doing some pulls. What are you and John doing right now?
Well, you know, we're using this dyno because it is pretty sophisticated and it's a really nice room. So we're using this dyno to test things like flat shift and whatnot. So we wanted this car to be real precise. So we put a pressure sensor on the clutch hydraulic system. So now we have to tell the ECU where exactly we want things to happen based on the pressure in the clutch system. So that's what we're doing, to get some feedback, getting some initial things set up so we can start testing this on the wastegate. So we're going to test all this stuff, you know, at lower power, make sure it all works. And then when we're done doing that, we're going to turn the power up, and that way it's all set up when the power's up. Yeah, more boost.
Most boost.
More boost.
Most boost.
So anyway, so this is all of the setup stuff people don't normally see, you know, and this is just one strategy that's in the ECU, right? So we're going to go through this, John and I, a few more times with a few different other strategies to make sure this is all ready to go. That's what we're spending time with the dyno for. Like, you know, you don't want to go waste a day at the track setting this up. I mean, you have a dyno, strap it down, it's safe, everybody's controlled environment, you know, this is what it's for.
Perfect.
So a dyno's not just a power measurement tool.
Yeah.
It's an actual tool. It's the same tool as having like an alignment rack, you know, so.
And I think that's a big point that you make that most people don't see because they're just like so inundated with like social media and some guy's dyno graph, right? They think like, oh, I just went on there, and John, you know this, it's like, oh, I just did a big power pull on the dyno. But what you guys are doing in terms of really trying to like dial in the drivability and save time at the track, because, you know, a track, there's sunlight. It's, you know, you can run out of time, you know, and you got to go. So being able to do as much as we can here to put ourselves in the best position for Thursday, to be able to do, you know, really on-track testing that can't be simulated on the dyno, try to do as much as you can here now.
Right.
Perfect. Cool.
So.
Well, I appreciate it, guys.
we looking? Oh,
beautiful. Time to go address my gap. We're almost done.
Yeah.
It is 6:15. We got here at noon, so about 6 hours. Had some things we had to sort out with the wheel speed sensors, figured that out.
Yep.
And then you guys pretty much started calibrating everything. You guys are happy with the boost targets. You guys are happy with the spark plugs that we swapped out and changed between some NGK9s, NGK10s.
That's right.
Had to gap it properly. So what do you guys think about the car? How do you guys feel?
It's fast.
Fast? Making what, a little bit over 700?
About 700.
Yeah. Which is great.
With some extra left in it if we have to.
Perfect.
Yep.
Wayne, you feeling good about it?
Yeah, boost control works great. Everything is looking good. The you know, looking at the linear potentiometers, you know, that's in there and the data, it looks like it's responding really well. So we're going to leave it the way it is because it leaves just enough room to give a little more on the table if you're looking for that number.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just run it at 700 and give it a go.
Let's do it. Well, I appreciate the guys at World Motorsports for you know, letting us use their dyno today, staying a little extra late so we get to sort this out. And next time you see us, we'll be at the track on Thursday, getting this thing tested at Buttonwillow. We do have you know,
the next couple days are going to be pretty stressful because there is a bunch of small stuff that has to get done, right?
Yeah.
It's the small stuff. It's not stress. It's just like,
I think it's
you got to get it, right?
Yeah,
you just got to get it done. So
4 or 5 things is all.
Yeah.
So,
So we got time. We'll get it done, and we'll get back to it.
all right.
Special delivery.
Special delivery, we're here. What's the date? November 5th? 5th? All right, it's Thursday. We're a week away from Global Time Attack. We're at Buttonwillow Raceway. We got the whole crew here. Car just arrived, late, whatever. It's 9:10. We're gonna get it unloaded. We're gonna get this fucking bitch on the track. And yeah, we're excited, man. I mean, this is awesome. We've been waiting for this, you know. We haven't been back on the track since the engine fire last year, and now we're here. We got 2 tuners, whole crew. You know, we bought a bunch of equipment to support the car, the track, and we're really, you know, we're all looking forward to seeing how this thing can do. Michael Essa is going to be behind the wheel. We're going to start down with just shaking it out, setting up the brake bias, probably send it out on the R-Triple-H just so we don't warm out the slicks, and we'll do a few laps, come back in, and just dial it in, you know? We'll be here for a few hours, and hopefully everything goes well. And then, you know, if everything's kind of looking good towards the end of the day, we're just going to send it and see, you know, where we're at in terms of a time, so we have a good idea of what our expectations are going to be for next week. So we're going to unload the car, and we're going to get to it. Let's do it.
It was coming out of the. It was last time. No, you can't winch it from the bottom.
This?
Yeah.
Is it strong enough? Yeah. We can winch it from there?
Don't winch it from the tow hook, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then the...
Because it's not all bolted together, and that's all.
So you do it from the bottom.
Here we are with the aero assembly specialists, hard at work. They're a key person in the team. Actually, I'm not making fun of them either because we couldn't do anything without them.
I mean, I've seen the arrow go on like 3 times, still have no fucking clue what goes where, so.
You're all those balls deep. That's all I got.
It's about 10:15. We've been here for about an hour. Really, we've just been getting set up in the garage. It's going to be the same garage we're using next weekend for the race. So just kind of get acclimated to how we're going to be setting things up. We got these new quick jacks, so we put those. It's really helping with the car. And now for the last 45 minutes, we've been putting the aero on. It's a pretty involved process. You know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 major pieces to the aero, plus a lot of the structural support bars. And we should be getting on the track here pretty soon. Mike, what's the plan? I'm with Mike from MotoIQ, so Mike's gonna, tell us kind of what the plan is gonna be for testing.
So what we're going to do is we're going to be making some passes down the hot pits, and Mike's going to be doing some test stops. So we're going to make sure that the balance bar is set correctly, and we're going to set your brake bias.
Okay.
We'll get close, and then we're going to stage the master cylinders, make sure, maybe have them do another quick check. Once the brake bias is set, we're probably going to send them out for like 4 laps.
Okay.
Just feel out the car just a little bit, get things up to temperature. We're going to come in, give everything a quick check, look for leaks or loose things. And I'm going to talk to him, see if he wants any changes. Then we'll probably bleed the tires down to good air pressure and send them out for maybe about 4 more laps. And then we'll bring them in here, get the car up, nut and bolt the entire car, put the slicks on, and then we're going to do a little testing with your slicks.
For sure. So yeah, I'm glad you brought up that last point. Right now we have the Toyo R888Rs that have been on the car, and the decision that you had made was let's just go out first with these, not really wear down the slicks.
Yeah, when we're setting the brake bias, you might lock it up, but we don't want to flat spot these.
Yep.
Just doing the basic setup.
Yep. So and that's it's really important. We're working with the right guys. They understand that there's a budget constraint. Let's not waste super expensive, really nice slick tires. Let's use the ones that are already on the car. Get everything sorted out, and as we progress during the day and develop, how the driver feels with the car, we'll start adding some of the race components back on there so we can really dial it in. So we're probably about, I would say 10 minutes from getting on the track, which would put us about 10:30, and we'll probably do that for a couple hours. So yeah, we'll be right back to it. I'm back here with Brian Kono. You guys maybe have remembered him from episode 1. He did a ton of the fabrication work on the car. In episode 1, we highlighted a lot of the work that he had done to the interior, the fuel system, and some of the stuff that he had did around the car. But what you didn't see at that time was the aero that he fabricated and developed along with Mike from MotoIQ. So, Brian, you know, we're in the front right now. We have this massive setup, and a lot of people aren't familiar with what it requires, what type of aero is required for mountain that. Maybe you can kind of tell everybody what you had in mind when you and Mike were collaborating and why you built it the way you did.
Well, the first thing is that it's so big that you can see huge.
Yeah, it's huge. It's massive.
So the main thing is how to brace it so it doesn't just fold.
Yep.
So what we did was I designed the front bumper and these aero braces right here. So you can basically stand on this and it's not going to flex down. And if it flexes, then you don't get any downforce. It doesn't transfer the downforce to the car. We have a raised center right here.
Okay, so that's this part right here. Raised center. Okay.
The raised center to feed the rear diffuser to get air going straight back. If you can look underneath there, it's flat all the way to the back to the diffuser. Okay. That feeds air all the way through. We have the sides raised like this because it gets downforce here, and the tire is pumping air out of these vents here and out of the side vents. So that gives us more downforce.
That part's supposed to be secret.
Oh, oops. So anyway, all that works in conjunction with the exit duct for the radiator to get air out, and that gives you downforce.
And you know, one thing I want to highlight now that the hood's actually on the car is ducting is super important to cooling. We're able to use a slim radiator behind a relatively thick intercooler, but get adequate cooling because of the pressure that's being created with the ducting that you had. That pulls really gets good high-end velocity of air through the cooling system, and it really balances out all the stuff that we got going on in the front. Let's go to the back, and as those guys are bunting it in, maybe you can tell us what you had in mind with the back as well.
One last time.
Okay.
Rear now.
So now we're in the rear of the car. We highlighted the various wing and chassis uprights that you had made in episode 1. No one had really seen the diffuser or the flat bottom, at that point because it wasn't up in the air and obviously the diffuser wasn't on. What was your thought process around this one?
So basically, you can't have more than a 15-degree angle for the diffuser, otherwise the air will separate and it won't give you any downforce.
Okay.
You can see that we have behind the tires because it just builds up high pressure in there and it creates drag and lift, which you don't want.
So you want open behind the tires, and you want to continue the flat bottom with the diffuser.
Exactly.
Perfect.
So basically what that does is it makes the car about this long.
Wow. Yeah, so
without making it that long.
And I remember last year when we were out here for testing, we didn't have the big rear wing, but we had the diffuser and we had all the front arrows, so things were a little off balance. But now, I think the whole team is very confident with everything that we've put together now that this is going to be a really tight, well-running car.
Yeah, sure.
So we're really excited. I mean, everything looks to be bolted on pretty much, so we're going to drop the car and we're going to start with the testing. Stay tuned. Back here with Wayne Potts from ISC Tuning, our boy John from 5150 Racing. These are the two tuners that we've been working with. You guys have been doing a lot more than just tuning, project managing, tinkering with the car, working on it, dyno testing it. How do you guys feel about everything so far? We're ready to go?
Yeah, we're ready to go, man.
Let's do it. So we're gonna get Michael Essa into the car. He's just putting his race suit on, and it's first time out. Let's give it a shot. Let's see how it goes.
Obviously, they're super old, right? Probably way down on pressure too, because I wasn't really pushing it. I was trying to get the brakes heated up to feel the brake balance. It was way too far rear, so I cranked in front. Started to feel better, but it still doesn't feel like the brakes are really grabbing. They feel pretty spongy. Like it's not much, and then lock up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could be the firewall. You know, it was getting pretty hot. Yeah, notice the firewall is burning the paint.
Yeah. It's right there on the firewall. It was out of the corner of my eye, but it was a pretty good size spark that came out of there. Okay. So I just kind of like.
So, like, come over here and look.
Sure. Yeah. But then on the manifold itself, I think you guys had a turbo plank in before too.
Oh, we did. We don't know where it went.
Oh.
I think it might have burned up.
Oh, I
too.
think it did burn up.
Yeah. So we're gonna get one before next week.
Yeah.
Warren already ordered it.
But look at the old stuff. It just goes right up to 175 and it stops.
That's awesome.
And then, coolant, it kind of started to level off at 208. It's perfect. Yeah.
Funny, we went out, we were doing the wrong track, so we didn't realize the time for what CW13 versus 25 was. Anyways, he did a couple laps just to go out there, I would say about 50%, you know, just to kind of feel how the car is. Got the car back, realizing that the new exhaust setup is very close to the firewall, so it started to burn a little bit of paint, and, you know, we needed to tighten up like an alternator belt. You know, obviously Michael was talking to John and Wayne, the two tuners, to kind of just get an idea of how he likes to throttle, what type of levels or parameters need to be raised up or down, just to kind of give the driver the feeling that he wants to get, right? So now we're just adjusting a couple things, tightening a couple things, brake fluid, brake bias, and we got about 15 minutes left in the session. Hopefully we can get back out. Otherwise we have to wait another 45 minutes because they're doing alternating sessions every half hour. So yeah, everyone's like hands on deck right now. I mean, this is part of the stuff you don't see. It's not easy getting a race car, a brand new build, working flawlessly, and it's never gonna happen on the first lap. That's why we have these days for testing. I mean, we'll be here all day. You know, we rented the semi-private track rental. It's not cheap, and but we need to do this, right? We got a lot on the line. We got to make sure that the car's running right, and we got the whole crew here. So we're gonna let these guys tighten it up, do what they got to do, and we'll get back out there. So let's go.
The heat's going this way, but also, I don't know if you're just getting air stagnation also in there too, like because you're the full flat bottom. So you might need to get some sort of like one small vent just that draws vacuum. Yeah. Just to exhaust air out the bottom.
Oh, buddy. So right now, Wayne and Michael are working together. Wayne is on the Syvecs program, and Michael's in the driver's seat, and he's just adjusting all of his pedal inputs to make sure that, you know, Wayne and Michael are on the same page. What Michael wants is exactly what the car's going to react to through the program. So right now they're just going back and forth, talking to each other, and really dialing it in. This is really why you want to use a standalone program like Syvecs, along with a sophisticated top-of-the-line tuner who can really talk to the driver and make sure that these guys are on the same page, because the driver and the car got to be one, and the tuner's got to make sure that all happens. So right now that's exactly what they're doing before they go out for the next run.
Yeah, feeling good. You know, we only got a couple laps out there, but it was just the initial shakedown after the car was basically completely rebuilt. So we made a couple changes to it, couple shock setting things. We moved the brake pedal actually over about a ½ inch so I can heel toe a little easier. And then they also changed the tune on the ECU to make the throttle pedal a little bit more sensitive. So when I'm on the brakes and I can roll my foot over and blip the throttle, match the revs and be able to downshift easier. So, you know, only a couple laps, but I think we made a lot of improvements already. So go back out and hopefully do some faster laps and start sorting out the chassis. shocks, it would just overpower these old tires more. So until we get better tires on it, but there's other stuff we can do, obviously, before we put the good tires on.
We're going to give you more rear bar.
Okay, perfect.
And then more rear rebound.
Perfect.
Stay confident. It's a process. We got the best guys in the industry working together. So, you know, like you just saw, Mike was talking to Michael, just making sure, you know, they feel the suspension and everything they need there. We got the tuners in the back looking at the logs. I'm sure they'll start talking to Michael next about, you know, what he's feeling inside the car in terms of all the, you know, response. And we're just gonna brace some stuff in the engine a little bit more. You know, everything's getting hot, right? It hasn't ever got hot before, so everything's starting to like wiggle around a little bit. So do a couple laps, tighten things up, make sure it's all secure, and we'll go back out.
Right-hander here. Oh, this is the Essence, so that was a long right-hander.
These guys are fine. There's this one, and I'm thinking that it got hot and this weld or something may have been compromised.
Just take the gear from fourth and just push that way. Like literally, like you're putting it through the passenger fucking mirror. And it'll go right into fifth. Okay. You'll never hit third if you're just pushing it past it. Okay. And it'll literally go click, click, and right in. Okay. Yep.
Okay, so what we're doing is we're adjusting the rear bar. And this is like a full race style adjustable blade. So your normal sway bars only have adjustments with holes to put more leverage on the bar. This one, you loosen this bearing right here and you turn this bar. So see how it's vertical now instead of horizontal. So this is essentially, it's stiffer, right? Instead of being flat where it can bend easily. So that's basically what we did.
This tracking shit's fucking nice.
Feeling better? Feeling pretty good. You know, we got the brakes are more sorted out. We got the front to rear balance right. But I don't know if it's a pad compound or something, but basically hard on the brakes and they just don't have that like initial bite, that grab. So, and I don't think they're fading because we only did 2 laps. So just got to sort that out. And yeah, otherwise the balance of the car is starting to feel really good, even on these really old tires. So I think fix the exhaust and put some slicks on it and try to go out and dial the slicks in. But yeah, big improvements from where we were at this morning. So I mean, a solid test day so far.
A quarter to 4. We've just put our first zip tie on the car, so you know that's racing. We're gonna have to do some work, but we just put the slicks on. Shout out to Rotoform for hooking us up with these 3-piece race wheels. They fucking look sick. That's kind of the whole idea when we were putting the car together. We're like, dude, we want the white wheels, and that's kind of how we did the whole livery with the red and the graphics. But I think this is a good solution. This is awesome. Way to go, team. So Mike's about to jump in. We're gonna dial it in, dude. I think this is gonna be a go time. So I'm excited. Testing day is complete. It's about 4:30. We've been here for like good 10 hours, you know, and we did a bunch of passes, tweaked things along the whole time. Mike, how do you feel about the car?
You know, I think people watching the video are probably seeing like all these little issues.
Yeah.
But it's normal. You know, when you build something this crazy, it takes time to develop the car and sort out the little issues. And luckily we're out here a week before. We found a lot of little problems, worked through a lot of them already, and we have a good game plan going in next week. So, I mean, the car has a lot of potential. The tuning, the new engine, and the rebuild, all that stuff is there. We'll play with the brakes a little bit and get that balance down. And you know, we were running on old tires all day from like 3 years old with a bunch of heat cycles. And when we put the new tires on just right away, we could feel how much better it was. The grip was just insane. And unfortunately, that power steering issue, so couldn't really put it through the paces. It'd just be too much of a risk if we had a problem and you know, put the car off. So yeah, we got a good game plan going into next week, and I mean, the boys are going to sort it out, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I mean, we got to fix a power steering issue we just discovered. We don't know if the line collapsed or there may be something wrong with the pump, so we're kind of going to figure that out. And you know, I think I told Martin, just order the spare pump. It's good to have a spare, and if that's a problem, better order it now. He's going to redo the line. So the car's going to go back to MotoIQ tonight. They're going to kind of sort all that out, and then they're going to take it over to Brian at after hours, and he's going to brace the exhaust manifold. Just to make sure that it doesn't shift under heat cycles, and we're gonna add some like a heat shield around the firewall, because now that new exhaust setup is really close to the heat to the firewall, so we want to make sure nothing starts to get burned up, and just kind of like do a lot of heat management. I think that's what we kind of figured out today, right? We need to get a turbo guard, a turbo wrap. Around the turbo. A lot of heat management around the engine compartment towards the firewall, and you know, we're going to change the brake pads. And I think that's going to put us in a good position for next week. You know, today's Thursday. We'll be back in a week on Friday for the test day for Global Time Attack, and then we got to run Saturday and Sunday. So it's going to be a really crazy week. Everyone involved, it's kind of all hands on deck, because we also have the Toyo Tread Pass that we were invited to, which we got to load up on Tuesday. So from Tuesday to Thursday, we're not going to really be able to work on the car. Maybe Thursday night after we pull the car from Tread Pass, if we have to do any last things, we'll get it back to wherever it needs to go to get worked on. And if we got to work late hours, that's just part of racing. And you know, I think this is a really good insight for a lot of people to like, hey, this is a super sophisticated car, but it doesn't just work out of the box. You know, you're running standalone engine management system, everything is custom, it's all pretty much brand new into a new car. And yeah, we're just going to do our best. But I really appreciate you being out here. Thank you for being part of the CSF Evo X. You're an amazing driver. You've really recovered in a couple spots where maybe not such a technical or skilled driver might have just totally blown the car up, or gone off track, and it could have got really messed up. But you did a great job, so thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And we're really looking forward to having you driving the car next week.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, brother.
Looking forward to being out here.
All right, guys, we'll be back. We got a lot more coming on, so stay tuned.